few minutes late, went a little long in executive session. So we can start. Motion to return to public session?
Move.
Thank you. Roll call?
Mr. Reddy?
Here.
Mrs. DeSillo?
Here.
Dr. Kalor?
Here.
Mr. Lebechi?
Here.
Mrs. Lopresti?
Here.
Mr. Kim?
Here.
Dr. Fernandez?
Here.
Ms. Lamb?
Here.
Mrs. Manning?
She's in the bathroom.
She will be here. Thank you. Call to order. Opening statement. Meetings of the board are open to the public, and all members of the community should feel free to participate. There are two opportunities for the public to speak. The first is at the beginning of the meeting for agenda items only, and the second is at the end of the meeting for other items. Any individual desiring to speak shall give his or her name, address, and end group, if any, that is represented. The presentation shall be as brief as possible, but no more than 3 minutes per individual. There are certain matters that may be brought before the board that cannot be immediately addressed in public. Such matters may be referred by the president to a board committee and/or to the superintendent for consideration and/or resolution. The board vests in its president or other presiding officer authority to terminate the remarks of any individual if he or she deems it in the best interest of those present to do so. Can we all stand for a flag salute? Thank you. Thank you all for coming. Hope everyone enjoyed their snow day and second snow day and delayed opening today. We're discussing an executive session that I think in my 12 years up here, I think this is the third time that we've exceeded all the snow days. And we're saying Irene, Sandy, and one off holiday I can't remember, or one off year. So hopefully this is the end of the snow, but I guess we'll find out. Not super big of an agenda, obviously. Thank you guys all for being here. We have no presentations, which would bring us to report of the students. I don't see Mr. Zambito. Is it just you, Bella? So take it away.
So I do think it's just me tonight. So, hi everyone. I hope that you've been good over the last month and that hopefully we enjoyed the snow days. I know the second one, I felt like I was a little boarded up at home, but hopefully all of our staff enjoyed the time off, much deserved. With recent news at the high school, we have our Holmdel Theater Guild Spring Play coming up. The show will be March 12th, 13th, and 14th at 7 p.m. It features Rogers plus Hammerstein Cinderella. I've personally never heard about that before, but I think it's a different rendition of a version of Cinderella played on Broadway in 2013. And from what I've heard from my friends who are part of the Theater Guild, they have a lot planned for it. There's a bunch of numbers with different songs and a lot of costumes and scene changes. So if you can head out to support them, these tickets are $5 for students and $15 for adults, and then $10 for seniors. And I know they always put on such great productions. They're always practicing in here, so that's exciting. We also have our spring sports coming up, so that's girls flag football. And I know our football coach, Coach Kavanaugh, is trying to solicit people to join the team. He's been going around, and we've got a lot more participation this year. There's also spring track and field, boys golf, boys volleyball, and girls lacrosse, and we have a bunch of sports coming up. And if your students or children need information about those, they're in Mr. Baranowski's weekly emails. And it's been kind of slow, easing back into the year for the high school, so mostly just new things coming up in the spring, nothing crazy. We have Relay for Life in May, on May 15th down at Bob Rogie Field. Hopefully we won't have a rain check again like last year, but either way it'll go great, and that's from 4 to 10 p.m. And registration on Tuesdays, I believe right now, is down to, I believe, $15, and all proceeds go to American Cancer Society. So we're just working towards raising more money for that as well. And one fundraiser that we're running at the high school right now through National Honor Society are Decision Day cookies. So if you have a child at this school or any other and you would want to purchase cookies for the school your child is going to, they come in on a little board. They're super adorable, and all proceeds again go to cancer research, so it's a great cause. But again, we don't really have anything that big going on right now, just a quick update, and I hope everyone's doing well.
Any questions for our student? I see none. I'll ask one. So tomorrow's boys basketball playoff game, 5:30.
Yes, I'm
State
cheering
group
at it.
playoffs against Robbinsville. What's that?
Oh, girls are playing too? I didn't.
And then I was going to say, the high school did have their third annual ski trip, which is pretty cool.
It went really well. I don't participate because I tried skiing once and it didn't go very well. But a lot of my friends headed out on the ski trip. It was very successful. And
Yeah.
I know, Mr. Reddy, your son had started the ski.
Right, yeah, so Tyler started it 2 years ago, and I'm very grateful that Devin Bahal, and I think if Heather's in the audience, she ran it this year, so that was a great job by her. So now my hope is 20 years from now, when we all have kids who have kids, they could come back and actually be going on a similar type ski trip, which would be pretty cool. So, thank you.
Oh, and as Mr. Reddy said, the boys basketball team and Miss Manning and the girls basketball team have both advanced to the playoffs. And do you know when the girls game is? Are they away today? They're away. The girls game is away, but the boys game is home tomorrow at 5:30, and it should be a good game.
Versus Robbinsville.
Versus Robbinsville. The cheer team will be cheering at it, so if you want to go head out and support it, it should be fun to watch.
And the last item, kudos to Jack Valillo, 1,000-point scorer. So I think this is the third 1,000-point scorer we had in the last 4 years, which is pretty cool. So kudos to Jack. I'm sure he's not listening, but kudos. Brings us to report of the superintendent. Please.
Thank you, President Reddy. Be relatively brief tonight. Just want to first thank our school community, parents, students, staff, Buildings and Grounds Department. I was out and about at the schools. When was that? Tuesday? I can't even remember the day. But I did visit all the schools and. Yeah, well, that was this morning. Yeah, this was when I went out, and it was yesterday, actually. I apologize. The days are blending into one another. But had an opportunity to visit with our staff who are out and taking care of the buildings, and so just want to express appreciation to them, but really everyone, because as I was visiting all the schools this morning at arrival, I was once again amazed at the way this community comes together and just gets it done. You know, there were a lot of districts that were still closed today. You know, by and large, our buses, our students, everyone was on time. And it's a testament to this community. It's why we're successful in just about everything we do, in the way that we come together. So thank you. I know it's been a lot of inconvenience, so it's much appreciated. Obviously, and I don't want to steal the thunder of negotiations chair, Mrs. Lopresti or Board President Reddy, but it's great to see all of our staff in the audience. Great to see a lot of blue, a lot of Holmdel blue. You know, I can just, you know, as someone who sort of sits at the bargaining table, and this was really my first time as a superintendent at the bargaining table from start to finish with like a front row seat to it. And there were a lot of things I could say about it, but one thing really stands out was just the grit and the effort and the time that both sides put into it. And I think in particular, over the course of this last 3 or 4 weeks, putting together quick meetings, board members finding time amidst their schedules as parents and professionals, and our staff wriggling out of whatever they needed to do to come. And really, our last 2 meetings were 3 hours, and so probably 9 hours total over the course of the last 3 weeks. So I just want to thank all the HDA folks who participated in that. I want to thank our board who participated in that. Tremendous. And, you know, obviously I think we're all, you know, largely pleased that we were able to get this done, and done in such a way that the board felt comfortable retaining our outstanding Buildings and Grounds folks. Yeah. Yeah, it's so, you know, we've cleared a couple of hurdles, and now as we head into the finalization of the budget, you know, we're going to continue to work hard at that to ensure that, notwithstanding the financial challenges, that we can move forward into the next year as unimpacted as possible. And you know, piggybacking off the prior 2 statements, there's nothing that we can't do and accomplish here when we're all working together. And I think that's, whether it's this contract or whether it's the way we got in here to school after a historic blizzard, there's nothing we can't do. And I am continue to be extremely proud and honored to serve as the superintendent. So with that, President Reddy, I will close my report.
Thank you. Attendance report?
Oh, would you like the
There you
attendance report? Okay. Okay, so always the exciting enrollment numbers. As of, where are we here? Give me a moment. Oh, yeah, sorry. All right, so at Village School, our current enrollment is 868 students. Indian Hill, this is as of today. Indian Hill, we have 619 students. Middle school, SATs, 424. And at the high school, we have 912 for a total of 2,823. That's actually up 0.6% from the last snapshot in October. And down, obviously, not significantly, as has been suggested, 3,002 in 16. So in 10 years, we've gone down approximately 180 students.
HIB report?
Respectfully submit into the record as reported in closed executive session.
Thank you, sir. Brings us to committee reports. The first one we have on the docket would be Ms. Tassilo, CNI.
The CNI met on February 17th, and what we went over was we talked about our dual enrollment, trying to see about adding American Sign Language, possibly as dual enrollment or even an option 2, but putting it up front, starting prior to freshman year, that something that they can have an option other than the 5 languages that are currently available. We also, in that conversation, not necessarily as dual enrollment, but did talk, we have a lot of, at the high school, different career pathways or career concentrations of courses, and we discussed the ability to possibly add a pathway towards education, different aspects, whether that be teaching, social work, guidance, so looking at a pathway for that. We reviewed the IXL platform and the different usages that takes place. We talked about class size monitoring and different AP coursework. There was kind of some background information laid out for new board members on that, still kind of ongoing. Then there was some new course proposals for next year that all are no cost and no additional staff to the district. One is called Grow It Green, and that is at the middle school, if I'm correct. Yes, middle school. One is called Podcasting Production for the high school, and the other is for SATs, Digital Citizenship and Technology in Society. So 3 kind of new options next year. Again, no cost, no additional staff for the district. Then we went into the special education student personnel services. We talked about the alternate assessment dynamic learning maps for students in the district that cannot take the standardized assessments. There's going to be the Office of Special Education is going to be sending out parent surveys over the summer. And we talked about unified sports, the bowling, which was this week and has now been reassigned for March 3rd. So that'll be coming up at Strathmore if anyone wants to attend. There is in March the CPAC meeting. Let me look at that date because it's probably on my calendar. But that is, they're going to be doing transition planning for students with disabilities with post-secondary options, adult services, and long-term planning. And I'm sorry, I'm looking to see if I can see a date. Ms. DeSaro, do you know when the CPAC meeting is? By chance? No? All right, sorry. Doc Lamoglia. March 10th, thank you. March 10th. We have the planning for the Transition Wellness Expo. That'll take place on April 30th. This is the event that Dr. Lamoglia has talked about, where vendors will provide information to families regarding student transition, varied college programs offered to students with disabilities, wellness, including fitness, nutrition, and mental health. So a lot going on. And we have also a presentation, it's being approved on the board tonight by Stephen Hill, who will be coming in for the Social Emotional Learning Week, who's already been here in the district before, and he's coming back. So that's C&I.
Thank you, Kim. Any questions for Kim? I had one. Go, Brittany.
I was just going to ask in general how the subcommittees, right? So the lead is in charge of, I guess, producing minutes, and then those minutes get published on the website for the public. I mean, can you just speak on that for me as a new member?
So now that I've reported it out, tomorrow I send my public-facing document out to Giovanna, if I'm correct? Is it Giovanna? Mm-hmm. And then she posts it. It's available on the website.
Kim, my question was, so you mentioned sign language. Would that be someone who is already a teacher within the school, or is that an extra Schedule B position? I'm just curious, like, do a lot of schools have that? Or?
No, but some
That's pretty
do,
cool.
and it would be, so they offer it at Brookdale. So if a student wanted to pursue it on their own, so that's why Dr. Lamoglia felt that option 2 would be the best bet, because right now, option 2 is generally mostly used for gym purposes. However, ASL 1 and 2 are available at Brookdale over the summer and in the afternoon and evenings. And so a student could pursue getting Brookdale credits via option 2. So not only do you get college credits, but you also earn your 2 years of foreign language required for graduation. Yeah, it came about because, you know, my daughter is dyslexic and has a really hard time with, you know, English, nonetheless Spanish, and yet because she does want to go to college, and it is a so college, they want to see a minimum of 2 years, if not 3 years, and then you have the actual high school college requirement to have at least 1 year. So it's just trying to look at different pathways that necessarily isn't reading and writing another language when kids have their own issues in just English. So.
Thank you. Allison, labor and negotiations.
All right, as Scott was just alluding to, after nearly a year of intense negotiations and consistent communications between the HTEA and the negotiations team, I am pleased to report that we've reached an agreement on a new teacher's contract that we'll be voting on tonight. I think it's Resolution 35. This agreement required compromise on both sides. Neither side is fully satisfied, which in many respects means the process worked as intended. There is mutual sacrifice, thoughtful prioritization, and a balanced approach that recognizes both the financial and operational needs of the district and the importance of supporting our faculty and staff in their work. Really glad to have this done, and so we can move forward together and keep this district exceptional. Thank you.
I just wanted to add in there real quick. I'm just, after a 12-month ordeal of, going through these negotiations, it's just really awesome to be able to say that we've come to a deal, and, we could really support the backbone of our district, and that's the teachers and the custodians. Thank you so much for everything that you do. This was a long time coming. Sorry it took so long, but you know what? Good things happen to those who wait, and I'm really glad that we got this done. So thank you.
If I could just say a couple words. So congratulations, everyone, on reaching a ratified teacher's contract and not outsourcing the custodians. Since I've been part of the discussions, I've seen Denise, Patty, and their team where they were super tough and tireless, relentlessly push for the teacher's best interests, sometimes to the frustration of the board because of this large deficit, where all roads, everything that we looked at still led to a giant hole. In the end, difficult concessions concessions had to be made all around to get here, and I want to thank you for ultimately working with us to get this contract done. Also, thank you to all the teachers and the membership for your hard work and also approving the contract. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I'll just say thank you, Denise. Thank you, Patty. Thank you. I didn't see Jay out here. Is Jay out here? Okay. Thank you, Jay, out there. And of course, yeah, that's good though. And Kristen, thank you. This was my 4th negotiation. Somehow I've been lucky to be on the last 4, so they're never easy. And I think this one of the 4 was definitely the hardest. So thank you. Thanks to the negotiations committee, for the last year. It's never easy. Obviously it's such a balancing act to do it. So I'm just glad it's done for a couple more years. Thank you to the entire union here, who's not everyone here, but the majority of all you here. Thank you for voting on it. Obviously you guys had to jump through hoops in the last couple of days, and I'm sure yell at Denise and Patty and the rest of the committee and everything else. So just very glad. I think it's a really good district, and it's obviously because of all of you out here. And I'm on a personal, I'm super glad we didn't have to, outsource the custodians, things like this, because I consider them, a lot of them friends, and I'm just very happy that we didn't have to go down that route. So, we'll see what the next bunch of years happen, but at least we're here now, so thank you for coming, and thank you. Scott? All right, the last committee we have is Budget and Finance, Buildings and Grounds. Anthony?
Thank you. Budget and Finance, we met on Wednesday, February 18th. Update as follows. We discussed the shortfall or slash financial modeling review and the final budget deficit modeling report, and the committee reviewed various budget models and the impact on potential staff reductions in force and impact on county taxes. The budget models included the cutting of courtesy busing and the impact on town requirements. Outsourcing review, we discussed the board's options with regard to the request for proposal. Subsequently, the decision was made, and tonight's board meeting, we will be rejecting all proposals, so very happy about that with regard to outsourcing. Health and benefit adjustment waiver review, we conducted a straw poll to determine anticipated budget revenues from 1.3 to or 3.4 million from the health benefit waiver adjustment, and regarding what tax increase would the board consider up to 7.2% at full adjustment. Town committee update, we discussed that as a result of the meeting that was held on February 13th with the town, there was really no definitive budget funding to be provided by the town, although they will continue to fund the SLEOs. The teams continue to work together to see if we can use any shared services that may result in future savings. The town also agreed to allow the district to schedule security for events free of current administrative fees. Thank you. Regarding buildings and grounds, thanks for lumping those two in, Pete. Buildings and grounds, the long-range facilities plan was shared with the committee for reference, noting that the cost estimates at the time were prepared pre-COVID pricing, so obviously that doesn't make much sense, and the district will be required to update the current LRFP plan. Once complete, Deb will share with the board. Addie's house was also discussed, and the potential sale of Addie's house to the Township Council and possibilities that would arise as a result of that, maybe a rec center and or potentially office space for the board as well. We would need to get the property appraised before we continue with any types of discussions and so on, but very preliminary at this moment. Regarding the referendum/solar update, the solar update we discussed hiring an energy consultant to actually help streamline the process, which will probably be very beneficial to us rather than having Deb handle all that work, which is probably a job in and of itself. And she's looking into what the procurement process is for that, and she will also update us on that one once it is complete. Thank you.
Thank you, Anthony. Any questions for Anthony or any of the committees? Sarika?
I realized everybody was busy with negotiations and budget, but I think, I'm not sure, I didn't receive a copy of the report. I think going forward, just like the CNI, maybe we can get a report beforehand, and then it can be posted the next day. Sure. Right? I'm sure,
I
mean,
think
see you
it's
guys were
after,
very
I think
busy.
it's after it's publicly discussed, then it's posted.
No, but, right, that, you're right about that. But then internally, it's sent to
Oh,
all of us
understood.
beforehand, so we can look at it, and then, and it's discussed today, and then it's posted tomorrow. Right, right, thank you.
Thank you, Sarika. I think you're right. Yeah, if when we do the COW or committee of the whole, or subcommittees, excuse me, if we could just make sure we get those meetings out. I didn't remind, the other committees, so we'll do that for next
I
time.
blame you, Pete.
I'll take it. Thank you.
I did say a reminder, so just.
You did,
I
yeah, I
did.
know, you're-
Don't worry. No, but I sent a reminder to everybody.
I have a question.
Thank
I don't know if this is for Deb or Dr. Cascone, but I know last year the Township Committee authorized $600,000 in shared services agreement for courtesy busing. If those funds were part of this year's budget, has the money been used towards courtesy busing in light of us possibly having to eliminate it?
Sure, I can answer that question. So the way the shared service agreement was written was that the funds were to be earmarked for maintenance, but the sort of a requisite, if you will, for the deal was that if they provided that $600,000 in funding for maintenance, that was predicated on us not cutting courtesy busing. And so in essence, what it enabled us to do was, prospectively put those funds into maintenance and slide the money from maintenance into the line to fund courtesy busing. But I should note, and I have no doubt that we will receive those funds shortly, but to date, we have not received those funds.
Also, since we are on the matter of budget, I'm not sure if everybody saw this, but given the press release from the Township Committee yesterday, it was a lot to digest, but unless I missed it, was there anything in there that would provide any financial assistance in the short term that will help the schools close the $5 million deficit that it faces? And will there be any impact on the calculations for us to be able to save any of the inevitable and upcoming staff cuts? I mean, there was a lot in there. There were a lot of numbers, but does that translate to anything that could help us with the task at hand?
Yeah, so I think the document was written as both a look back as well as a look forward, far forward, but not necessarily in the present. So let me qualify that. So the press release refers to a number of $6 million as it relates to, I think, 23 Main Street or the Vonage property. My understanding is that is essentially basically the the numbers appear to be calculated at $200,000 a year over, I think, 30 years. We had previous conversations with the town committee, and they have committed to, on an annual basis, when that property is active and is up and running, that we would be receiving approximately a $200,000 to $250,000 payment annually for what that property would have contributed to the tax base if it were not a pilot. And so essentially that number in that document is speaking to if and when that project gets online and is operating, the board can expect approximately $200,000 to $250,000 a year, which if you multiply that over the life of that pilot is where you get the $6 million figure. But in direct answer to your question as to whether it will impact this year's budget, the answer is no. It speaks obviously to last year's contribution of the $600,000. It speaks to the ongoing shared service agreement with regard to the special law enforcement officers and the SRO, which was re-signed through 2029. The number that's referenced, $450,000, is higher than it was at the onset really specifically because they're incurring some unemployment costs over the summer, which they're going to rectify through some changes in the way they schedule the Class 3s. So it speaks to, a look back and then obviously presently. The $8.5 million number referenced in the Bellworks pilot, and at first glance, that might be sort of difficult to understand, right? Because we, of course, understand that we have not been receiving money directly from that pilot. But what that's referring to is that within the umbrella of that property, there is a development that is actually part of the tax base, that is generating tax revenue. And if I understand what that means, the $8.5 million, what it means is that that is not money that's coming directly to the school district, but it is money that's subsidizing the tax base and is diffusing the burden, thus reducing the burden on the remainder of the taxpayers. But in the end, out of that $8.5 million, the school district is not getting any more than the 68% that it typically gets from the tax base. It's just lending to a more equitable distribution of the tax burden on residents. Final point, and as Mr. Lebecci referred to, we did have a relatively productive conversation with the town committee on February 13th, and they are currently deliberating on possible ways to provide additional financial support this year. We understand that there had been some conversation in their executive session last night. Our attorneys played phone tag today, so we're hopeful when that conversation happens that there's some good news there.
Thank you.
Thanks, Joanne. I was actually going to bring that notification to the town up during new business, so I'll make my comments then. So that brings us to questions or comments from the public on action items only. So,
Can I make a comment?
I see none, but the superintendent would like to say something.
I was remiss. I probably should have mentioned this in my superintendent's report. I'm not as young as I used to be. The brain isn't quite as ironclad as it used to be. But there is a pretty, I would argue, there's a number of retirements on the agenda, and they're all noteworthy whenever someone finishes their service in the district, but one to which I would like to speak personally, and that is the retirement of Mr. Art Howard. Yes. So any staff member, whether faculty or administration, that not only lasts in Holmdel for decades, but is able to do so while continuing to put together a great body of work, and who's able to do that while maintaining universal respect from all constituents. That's not easy. Only the best of the best can do that in Holmdel, because it's a community with extremely high expectations. And I think it speaks to who Art is as a professional. But I think more importantly, and I think all of us who know Art and how we feel about Art, it's about who he is as a person. I obviously saw someone in Art that I felt would be a great addition to the central office team, and he has been that. This year in particular, with the work that he's done over the last several years in partnership with the character education committees, with the professional development committees, has been tremendous. I think just in that he has brought an inclusivity to both those processes that had sort of lapsed prior to that. It had all become a bit top-down, and Art's really and it has really steered those committees with the staff in a really productive way. I'll just close in saying that I think Art's the kind of guy that you won't really know how much you miss him until he's gone. You won't really realize just how much of a space is left, and of course he's a big man, so that's a lot of space. I think, while we're going to miss Art, I think when Art's gone, and Art, please come and visit. He probably won't, but that's okay. We won't take it personally if you don't. But he's going to be very missed. And obviously we'll have a lot of opportunities between now and the end of the year to celebrate him and his career here. But congratulations, Art. We wish you nothing but the best, good health, happiness, and I know you're going to keep real busy.
Good evening, everyone. So I would also like to speak on behalf
Can you
of...
please say your name and
Oh,
where
I'm
you're from?
Sorry. Sorry. Lisa
Thank you, Miss-
Vitale, HTAA President, Principal at Indian Hill. I normally, those of you that know me, I normally don't write things down when I speak. I normally just speak from the heart. But when you know art for 17 years, it requires writing things down because there's just too much material to miss it. So I just, I'm speaking on behalf of our team. Dear Art, as you retire after 22 plus remarkable years of service to the Holmdel School District, it's difficult to put into words the depth of gratitude, admiration, and respect so many of us feel for you. Your journey as an educational leader from principal of Sats Middle School to Village Elementary, where you were affectionately known as the Gentle Giant, to interim superintendent during some of the most challenging times our district has ever faced, and ultimately to the assistant superintendent, has been nothing short of extraordinary. You are, at your core, a true child advocate who leads by example and from the heart. No matter the circumstance, you've always remained calm, thoughtful, and unwavering in your commitment to putting students first. And I know he remains calm because I worked with him for 6.5 years and nothing phases him. Your ability to listen deeply, to lead without ego, and to approach every situation with humility and grace is a rare gift. You never get frazzled, you never lose sight of what matters most, and you always bring a sense of reassurance to those around you, often with your signature low-key humor and down-to-earth presence. On a personal note, I'm especially grateful that you hired me as your assistant principal back in 2009. Over the past 17 years, you have grown to be more than a supervisor. You have been my mentor, my colleague, and one of my closest friends. Your guidance has shaped me as a leader, your trust has empowered me, and your friendship has meant more than you will ever know. Working alongside you has truly been an honor and a privilege, and you have made my time in Holmdel deeply meaningful and memorable. Your loyalty, your moral character, and your exemplary leadership have left a lasting mark on the district, on every life that you've ever touched. You have a way of impacting everyone that you encounter, and those fortunate enough to be a part of your inner circle are truly blessed. Your presence will be deeply missed, and you are genuinely irreplaceable. As you begin the next chapter, I wish you nothing but continued success and fulfillment, whether as a published author, a certified therapist, a podcast partner with your wife, a devoted husband and a father, or an active board member in your community. I have no doubt that you will continue to make a difference wherever your life takes you. Thank you, Art, for 22 plus years of unwavering dedication, compassion, and integrity, and for 17 years of mentorship, friendship, and a shared purpose. You will be greatly missed, but your legacy will live on in the countless students, educators, and leaders that you have inspired. We love you, Art. Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa. Well said. All right. So we're now at action or board resolutions. So we're going to be voting on items 1 through 5. Correct me if I get these wrong. 9 through 32, 34, 36, and then 36 through 38. So we will be pulling items 6, 7, 8, 33, 35, and I will have a slip sheet that I will be reading this one at the end that I think everyone will be happy about. Questions? Anything else? No? Can I get a motion?
Move.
Awesome. Can I get a roll call?
Mr. Reddy?
Yes.
Mrs. DeSillo?
Yes.
Dr. Kalor?
Yes.
Mr. Lebechi?
Yes.
Mrs. Lopresti?
Yes.
Mr. Kim?
Yes.
Dr. Fernandez?
Yes.
Ms. Lamb?
Yes.
Mrs. Manning?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item 6, acceptance of retirement Assistant Superintendent Curriculum Instruction. Whereas Mr. Arthur Howard has served the Holmdel Township Public Schools with distinction since July 1st, 2004, and whereas Mr. Howard has faithfully executed his duties with skill and competency, and whereas Mr. Howard has earned the respect of his colleagues and community residents, and whereas Mr. Howard has submitted a letter announcing his retirement from the Holmdel Township School District effective July 1st, 2026. Now therefore be resolved that the Holmdel Township Board of Education accepts Mr. Howard's retirement with deep gratitude for Mr. Howard's dedication, loyalty, and outstanding services performed, and further extend to Mr. Howard its best wishes for a happy and healthy retirement. Have you a motion?
Move.
Second? All right. I'll say something before I vote. So I remember years ago when I first started on the board, you know, I remember didn't really know Mr. Howard. My kids were in village school, I guess, at the time, and I was like, who is this guy? This guy's huge. And I just remember he always had the car, I don't know if you still have it, had the Superman license plate. I see a Superman shirt in the audience, and I was always like, so whenever I think of Art Howard, I always think, oh, this guy's like Superman. And then I remember going to not the back to school nights, Battle of the Faculty. And you would never beat Art Howard, and I didn't see Lisa before in the audience, and I was like, there's no way she's missing this meeting. It can't be. They literally did like salt and pepper, or they did amazing musical duos, as everyone remembers, in the different schools, and just classic and powerful. And, you know, Art, you were an excellent person to everyone I've seen. You treat people with such care and respect, but yet you're an excellent leader, and people follow you, and no one ever says a bad thing about you, and your easygoing manner, like Lisa said, is spot on. I was like, I'm not sure how you do it. I know as you sit on the Robbinsville School Board, you get to sort of do the stuff we do, and I'm sure you kill it there because you literally approach everything with a very pragmatic, easygoing, not crazy mentality or things like this. So thank you, and appreciate it. And
Is all of that to say you're voting no?
no, I was going to pull the resolution, but we decided we weren't able to do that, and that would be wrong. So, roll call?
Mr. Reddy?
Absolutely. Congratulations. You still got 6 months, though, or at least 4 months.
Mrs. DeSillo?
With love and regret, yes.
Dr. Kalor?
Yes, we'll miss you very badly. I've known you from the time my kids were in school, middle school as well, and over the last few years at the board and with the CNI reports, you were, your work with HIB, the PBS, Character Strong. I really respect everything that you stand for. We'll miss you.
Mr. Lebecci?
Yes, I'll give you a hug later, Art.
Mrs. Lepresti?
Yes, absolutely. I think one of your legacies, although there are many, I think is going to be that live Holmdel Blue, right? I mean, it's kind of become one of the mantras around here, and I think we can thank you for spearheading that. That's going to be one of your lasting gifts to this district. So thank you, congratulations. You're going to kill it whatever you do.
Mr. Kim?
Thank you, Mr. Howard. There'll be a large art-shaped hole in the district for a while, and so again, thank you so much, and try not to be too busy during retirement.
Dr. Fernandez?
Yes, congratulations. Mr. Howard, you set the tone for when my kids started at Village School, and it's well appreciated. Thank you.
Ms. Lamb?
Yes, you were also the principal during my kids' time at Village. Thank you so much. Enjoy retirement in great health. Thank you so much.
Mrs. Manning?
Yes, thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you. Ray, would you mind reading number 7, please?
Acceptance of retirement, special education teacher, Village School, whereas Miss Jill Kimler has served the Holmdel Township Public Schools with distinction since July 19th, 1995, and whereas Ms. Kimler has faithfully executed her duties with skill and competency, and whereas Ms. Kimler has earned the respect of her colleagues and community residents, and whereas Ms. Kimler has submitted a letter announcing her retirement from the Holmdel Township School District effective April 1st, 2026. Now therefore be it resolved that the Holmdel Township Board of Education accepts Ms. Kimler's retirement with deep gratitude for Ms. Kimler's dedication, loyalty, and outstanding services performed, and further extend to Ms. Kimler its best wishes for a happy and healthy retirement.
Thank you, Ray. Can we have a motion?
Move.
Roll call?
Mr. Reddy?
Yes, thank you, and enjoy retirement.
Mrs. DeSillo?
Yes, thank you. Enjoy retirement.
Dr. Kalor?
Yes, thank you. Congratulations.
Mr. Lebecci?
Yes, congratulations.
Mrs. Lepresti?
Yes, thank you for your decades of service.
Mr. Kim?
Thank you and congratulations.
Dr. Fernandez?
Yes, thank you, and congratulations.
Ms. Lamb?
Yes, is she here tonight? Is she not here? Nope, not here. Yes, thank you so much. Congratulations. You're one of Aaliyah's faves. Thank you so much. Enjoy retirement.
Mrs. Manning?
Yes, congratulations.
Thank you. Item 8. Greg, would you mind reading item 8? Thank you.
Acceptance of retirement custodian, WR Sat School. Whereas Mr. Arnold Gabriel has served the Holmdel Township Public Schools with distinction since August 22nd, 2005, and whereas Mr. Gabriel has faithfully executed his duties with skill and competency, and whereas Mr. Gabriel has earned the respect of his colleagues and community residents, and whereas Mr. Gabriel has submitted a letter announcing his retirement from the Holmdel Township School District effective July 1st, 2026, now therefore be it resolved that the Holmdel Township Board of Education accepts Mr. Gabriel's retirement with deep gratitude for Mr. Gabriel's dedication, loyalty, and outstanding services performed, and further extend to Mr. Gabriel its best wishes for a happy and healthy retirement.
Can we get a motion?
Move.
Second.
Thank you. Roll call.
Mr. Reddy?
Yes, thank you for 21 years of service.
Mrs. DeSillo?
Yes, congratulations.
Dr. Couloir?
Yes, thank you, congratulations.
Mr. Lavecchi?
Yes, thank you for your service.
Mrs. Lopresti?
Yes, thank you. Congratulations. Enjoy retirement.
Mr. Kim?
Thank you and congratulations.
Dr. Fernandez?
Yes, thank you, and congratulations.
Ms. Lamb?
Yes, thank you. Enjoy retirement and great health. Thank you.
Mrs. Manning?
Yes, congratulations.
Thank you. Anthony, could you do 33? I know you're a football guy, so I figure, or at least I know your kids play football.
It's the wrong team, but it's okay.
Yeah, it's the first year we've ever seen money from this organization, so, thank you in my mind.
Acceptance of a monetary donation from the New York Jets Foundation, Inc. Resolved that the board accept with gratitude a monetary donation from the New York Jets Foundation, Incorporated, Student of the Week in the amount of $1,000 to be designated for the Holmdel Township School District Football Program. Account number, I will leave that out.
Can we get a motion?
Move.
Second.
A roll call?
Mr. Reddy?
Thank you, New York Jets. I think this is the first time we got money from the Jets. I know usually we get money from the Giants, I think, every year, so I don't know if they're giving every school district in the state money, but if Noah Kavanaugh has something to do with it, our football coach, this is great. Maybe they saw our success, so yes, thank you.
Mrs. DeSillo?
Yes, thank you very much.
Dr. Couloir?
Yes, thank you.
Mr. Lavecchi?
Yes, thank you.
Mrs. Lopresti?
Yes, thank you, Jets.
Mr. Kim?
Yes, thank you.
Dr. Fernandez?
Yes, thank you.
Ms. Lamb?
Yes, thank you.
Mrs. Manning?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Allison, since you've been sort of involved with this one for a while, would you mind reading 35?
Absolutely. Approval of the memorandum of agreement between the board and the Holmdel Township Education Association for the period of July 1st, 2025 through June 30th, 2028. Resolved that the Holmdel Township Board of Education approves the memorandum of agreement between the board and the Holmdel Township Education Association dated February 20th, 2026, setting forth terms for a new collective negotiations agreement for the period of July 1st, 2025 through June 30th, 2028.
Move.
Second.
Thank you. Roll call?
Mr. Reddy?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you.
Mrs. DeSillo?
Yes.
Dr. Couloir?
Yes.
Mr. Lavecchi?
Yes.
Mrs. Lopresti?
Yes.
Mr. Kim?
Yes.
Dr. Fernandez?
Yes.
Mrs. Lamb?
Yes, and congratulations.
Mrs. Manning?
Yes.
So like I said, we do have one slip sheet, so this is item 39, approval of revised 2025-26 calendar. Yeah. Yeah. So it's basically during as a result of the snow days. So we moved the board passed a resolution to resolve the school calendar of 2025-26 to make April 7th an early dismissal day, rather than a full school day.
Move.
Yeah, so he came up in our discussions with the superintendent, so I think, a lot of pre-planned vacations, everything else, so you'd be thanking this guy right next to us. So, motion?
Move.
Give a second? All right, roll call?
Mr. Reddy?
Yes, for all those kids that aren't listening to this meeting right now, they should have been listening, because they're getting a nice little half day, so yes.
Mrs. DeSillo?
Yes.
Dr. Couloir?
Yes.
Mr. Lavecchi?
Yes.
Mrs. Lopresti?
Yes.
Mr. Kim?
Yes.
Dr. Fernandez?
Yes.
Ms. Lamb?
Yes.
Mrs. Manning?
Yes.
Thank you. And I believe that brings us to the old business or new business first? Old business. Does anyone have any old business they'd like to discuss?
I just wanted to report, Mr. Kim had asked for the amount of roof repairs. So for this year, so far, we've spent about $86,000.
Thank you. Any other old business? Any new business? All right, I have one. Well, first off, I went to the Ramadan ceremony the other day at the township. It was my first one. It was very cool, very nice to be there. Appreciative of all the, I think, Township Committeeman Vanderham chaired it, and it was well attended. It was, again, like I said, it was very nice to be there, because I know a couple years ago when we accepted Eid as a holiday, I really didn't know much about Eid, so it was very nice to be there, and, you know, seeing, I'm Catholic, I celebrate Easter and other things, but I like this district that we've, over the years, you know, Diwali, Eid, you know, Yom Kippur, Rosh Hashanah, you know, we basically celebrate Lunar New Year, thank you, so many holidays, so it's very, very cool. The other thing I was going to bring up was, I did, like most of the people in the town, got the email from the town that Ms. Lamb was talking about before, about the different numbers. I know when I went through the email, some of it was confusing to me, because I've been sitting up here for a long time, and I didn't understand where we got $6 million of projected pilot money, $8.5 million for different relief. I did know about the SRO and the Class 3 funding. That seemed to be pretty clear. The $600,000 for courtesy busing, the infrastructure and road improvements, which have been great. And I know the district here, I think we funded 2 road traffic studies over that time, so I'm very glad we got it done. We're hopeful, like as Dr. Cascone said, we met with the Township Committee, I guess, a couple weeks ago. We still haven't heard back on what support they might be able to give us or might not give us, but I'm hopeful they will. If it does, it's only going to benefit our students and the, you know, and the residents of this district. But some of the numbers seem to be a little interesting to me, and I know Dr. Cascone reached out to the Township office today to try to get some explanation on some of them. And Dr. Cascone did talk about the Vonage property, as I guess it's being referred to as 31 Main, $3 million of money that will be coming in the next 20 years. And if you do math, 20 years into is basically $300,000 a year. So it's really not $6 million, you know. So just wanted to touch on it. And I guess we might be hearing more down the road. So.
Actually, if I could interject there. So
Absolutely.
I was doing the math just to see if any of it reconciled, because I did sit through some of those TC meetings, and I didn't know where 6 million came from either, so I did reach out to Dr. Cascone. Well, I asked Dr. Cascone right now, but we're currently already getting the schools
Correct.
are currently already getting $240,000 per year under the current traditional tax
Correct.
setup. So if they go to the pilot program and they're saying that we're going to keep roughly about the same, that's not anything new or different that's coming from the school. And even if you took 6 million and you divided it by 30 years,
It's 300
it
grand.
comes to 200,000, which is not this 240. So the numbers don't really reconcile. It's not really clear what that number is referring to. I was actually unsure, since you met with them, if they were committing to a separate 6 million going forward, and whether or not we had it in writing, but it sounds like.
Not that we're aware
Okay.
of or been told,
Thank you.
and you're correct. We're basically being made whole, essentially, for the taxes we were getting from what we're going to get now, which isn't a bad thing. It's actually, it's better than being less, so at least we're not going to have to fill another hole, or the business office will not have to find more money to fill, you know, another property that's going a pilot route. So, yeah, I guess stay tuned for more stuff. Hopefully in the next few weeks, month, we'll get some more information. So that brings us to comments from the public. Ms. Patty?
Hello, good evening. Patty DeSaro, HDA President. I'd like to take a moment to speak and express my sincere appreciation to a few people. First, all the staff of the HTEA for your patience and understanding during these hard times, for continuing to be professional, for always putting your students and their families first. Without all of you, we wouldn't be Holmdel. We truly have the best staff here in Holmdel, and I want to thank you. I want to thank our negotiations team for the HTEA. Without all your hard work and countless hours working with me, your dedication definitely doesn't go unnoticed, and we all appreciate all the time and effort that you put in. A special thank you to Denise, Jay as our negotiation chairs, as well as Kristen McCafferty. These last 6 weeks, you three put in countless hours. I know that we all forgot what our families look like at some point. Anytime one of you would call me on the phone, my husband would joke about me talking to you more each day than me talking to him or my own children. I was very lucky to have all of you there. Now on to the board. Of course, just as important. I want to thank every single one of you up here tonight. You all played a pivotal role in getting this contract completed. It was clear that all of you were working together to ensure that we had a fair agreement and that you all took the time to listen to us. Your commitment to fairness, professionalism, and respect changed the direction of this process. Each of you should be proud of the role you played in settling this contract tonight. Even if you weren't directly on the negotiations table, you all made a difference. Thank you, Board President Pete Reddy, for assembling such a great negotiation team. Bringing together a group committed to the process and willing to stay at the table made all the difference. Because of that leadership, we were able to reach an agreement that reflects the hard work of everyone involved. Thank you so much to Ms. Lepresti. Working with you in the last year, we have gone back and forth on items, but you always made sure to bring things to the table and listen to us, along with Mr. Lebecci. The two of you continuing on this negotiation really made a difference. And Joanne, I hope you learned a lot. In those 6 weeks, you guys put in just as much hours as we did, and I'm sure you all missed your families just as much as we did as well. Since January, both teams have spent countless hours in negotiations, and these meetings required preparations, patience, and perseverance. This agreement happened because people showed up week after week, ready to do the work, and that commitment deserves the recognition that I'm trying to give out tonight. Successful negotiations are not about winning or losing, but about finding solutions that allow us to move forward together in service of our students and our community. And I think we did a really good job with that. Last but not least, I'd like to thank Superintendent Dr. Cascone for the significant time he dedicated in recent weeks to help bridge the gap. His willingness to engage directly and work towards resolution was definitely instrumental. Him and I might have had a couple of heated conversations, but we both listened very well to each other. Tonight's not about just acknowledging this contract, but about recognizing the power of a respectful dialogue, persistence, and a shared purpose. On behalf of the HTAA, thank you to everyone who committed their time, their energy, and professionalism. We are proud of the work we accomplish and look forward to continuing to build a strong, collaborative relationship moving forward. And we are all very happy not to wear red for a while. Thank you very much.
Patty, can I say you left one integral part of this whole process out is Deb, because without her and her numbers and the principals, I mean, there are so many players in this, of course, to get it to the finish line, but we can't miss Deb, and we can't forget about Deb, because
Deb and the admin team did come and help. It takes a whole village, pardon the pun, to get things done. But real quick, I just want to say something about art on behalf of the HTA too. Mr. Howard, we want to, I speak for everybody, and maybe more people will come up, but you are a tremendous human being to this school district, and you can never be replaced. And I will always enjoy the fact that you listen more than you speak. And when you don't even say anything, it's impactful. Your words, when you do speak, really hit home with me, and you have given me a lot of advice over the years, and I have learned a lot from watching you and your patience, and I really hope you enjoy this time with your family, and I hope you keep in touch with us. Good luck.
Hi, Denise King. First of all, Patty said everything about negotiations, so thank you all for all of your dedication and hard work. We have spent so much time together that I think we know each other really well at this point, even though some of us were brand new to one another. So thank you again for that. But I wanted to get up and talk about you, Art. I know that Art and I started at SATS together. I was in Indian Hill and Village for really about 10 years, and I wanted to change. And so, the superintendent said, okay, well, I can give you part-time at the middle school. So I said, oh, okay. So Art's the principal, and he's new to everybody. And as everybody said, he's like this gentle giant. So he really doesn't say much. And you'd go in and talk to him in his office, and sometimes he'd be like, But he got the job done. And that's what mattered more than anything else. He would listen to what you said, and if a student was giving you a problem, you just went to the office, Art handled it. I don't know what he said to them ever, but they would come back to class and they would be stellar in behavior. So, Art, I remember that distinctly. If anybody ever said anything about, oh, well, people don't move around the building, I said, I don't need anybody to move around the building. I need someone to be there when I need them. And Art's that person. He's always there for us. He's always been there for us, whether it was his role as the principal at SATS, his role as principal at Village School, which when he moved down there, I know I was a little skeptical because he was used to working with bigger students, and they loved him. The kids loved him. He would high-five him in the hall. All the staff loved him. And he brought that special something that this district, it always had, but with Art, it just became something more. His presence has always been strong and positive, and he, number one, put the people first. And I mean that sincerely. It was the children first. It was his staff first. Always before himself. He made sure that we were listened to, the kids were cared for, and that as a leader, he was inspirational to all. He never made anybody feel bad if they came in to vent. He listened, and he gave sound advice. And I watched him move forward to be our interim superintendent, and then now the assistant superintendent. And he's been key, as Dr. Cascone said, because I was on DIAC with him, where we look at the evaluation system. And he lets us, as your staff, you bring in the information and listens, and then brings that back to everybody. And what's really neat about it is, it's the first time, and I like this, Art, the running document. You ever go to a meeting, they give you a piece of paper, and then the piece goes away? He has it, so you know back from the first day we started the meeting what we've accomplished for the last couple of years. So, Art, for me, I'm going to miss you. But it's not goodbye for us, because we'll still remain friends. But I just wanted you to know how impactful you were to my career here in Holmdel, and I look forward to hearing all of your things that you're going to do in retirement. Thank you.
All right. I don't see any more comments. We do not have to enter an executive session, so I'm happy to report that, can I get a motion to adjourn?
Move.
All right. We're done. All in favor? Aye. Thank you. Have a good night.